Welcome back to CFB Nation. I am your host, Nino Brown. I got my guy with me. You know who it is. Deep Fried Draft, Brian Bosage. And when you see us on the screen, you know what time it is. Garnet Roost. How we doing today, my man?
My man, we're doing great. 3 wins in a row.
Woohoo!
I felt like I had to wear this same shirt again this week that I wore last week. Didn't want to put any jinx on it, but yeah, man, I'm pumped. Clemson week this week, big rivalry.
We beat him last year, right?
We beat them last year, first time in like 8 years. I think they knocked them off. So it's been a while, but got that one last year. I remember last year I was at Disney watching that game on my phone.
Yelling and screaming, people like, "Oh, this guy!"
I was so happy to see Mickey, man. They didn't know what to think.
I love it. All right, episode 12 of this lovely show that we started this year, and we will continue to go on with. That's a dozen show episodes. Did you think we'd get this far this quickly? It was kind of just like came so fast.
Yeah, I mean this show came together, but man, it's been fun. I've made the Gamecocks your third favorite team, I believe, and we're slowing, we're climbing the ranks.
I like it. I love it. The fact that I got my hat on today because a guy on the side here, he got named to the Senior Bowl. He accepted the invite. Obviously, we'll talk about it a little bit in the show, but I'm excited. There's still a lot of Gamecocks possible football or possible player football going on. So the season's not over yet. We're in the rapid fire. You ready?
Let's do it.
All right. Right off the rip. Do you think anyone hits the portal from the Gamecocks? And if so, give me a name.
I can't give you a name because I don't know. I'm going to tell you I'm not familiar with their third and fourth team guys, but I think you're going to see some of those guys, maybe some of those second-year guys, third-year guys that haven't quite got up the depth chart like they thought they would. I think you might start seeing some of those guys portal out, head down to the what are they going to be, like the group of 8 schools next year? So some of those and see what happens. To heading to a Sunbelt school near you, probably some of those guys, but I saw one interesting name that I would like to see portal in next year.
Okay.
And that was Yale offensive tackle Jonathan Mendoza. 6'9", 315-pound tackle.
Woo! Big fella. Come on in. Yeah.
Bring it on in. Hopefully you're better than the last Yale guy we brought in.
Shots fired. I love it. All right. Number 2. QB coach that could possibly be the Gamecocks OC. I put 2 names on there. Which one would you rather have? Tyler Bowen out of Virginia Tech or Willie Corn out of Liberty?
So we're going that we're getting rid of Loggins.
Just if there's a possibility.
As a hypothetical that he goes somewhere else.
Yes.
I'm going to go with Bowen from Virginia Tech just because Willie Corn's a Clemson guy, and I don't see that really going over well.
Okay. All right. I like that. Yeah, you don't want to bring in the enemy. Can't bring in the enemy. All right. CFB playoff right now. Give me a 4.
I mean, man, I want to say that I think Alabama's going to get in there, but I am struggling right now to see the path to that.
Okay.
Because for that to happen, Texas has to lose. Mm-hmm. They're not going to lose to Texas Tech. I don't think they're going to lose to Oklahoma State, who I assume that's who they're going to play in the Big 12 title game.
Right.
So that, to me, takes Alabama out if Texas doesn't lose, because there is zero argument you can make to put Alabama in ahead of Texas.
When Texas beat them.
Texas beat them by 10 on their home field.
Yeah.
So no. I mean, on field has to matter.
All right.
So I'm going to say right now, Georgia, probably. Florida State, I think, is done. I think they lose to Louisville in the ACC title game now without Jordan Travis. They'll beat Florida this week, but I don't know that they're going to beat Louisville in the ACC championship game without Jordan Travis. the winner of Michigan Ohio State. I think it's going to be Ohio State.
I believe I'm with you with there. I think so too.
I think Ohio State wins Saturday. So I think they're in. Michigan's out. Winner of Washington, Oregon, Pac-12 title game gets in.
You don't got to ask me that one.
I know where you're at, and I'm gonna be honest. I think I'm there. Oregon made a lot of mistakes in that game against Washington the first time. A lot of unforced coaching errors that I don't
flexing.
Yeah, I don't think they make that same mistake again. I think Oregon that now, with the caveat that they beat Oregon State this weekend, because I'm not 100% sure that happens. That's a tough team, man. That's a tough team. That's a tough out. But if they do run the table, I think Oregon's in. And then, man, I mean, you might get Texas in there.
Mm-hmm. My team, that was one half of my natty is still alive. I think they can sneak in there in the fourth spot. It's Texas. I had Texas LSU. LSU pooped their pants, even though Daniels is going bananas. But yeah,
and should win the Heisman. By the way, I'm just gonna throw that out there. Sorry, Bo.
Bo doesn't have enough rushing. Doesn't have enough.
Well, Daniels is the best player in college football this year. If that's what the award is, he should win it.
I agree. I agree with you. His numbers are just too away from everybody else. He's so far ahead of everybody else. It's crazy. All right, SEC winner. Give it to me.
Alabama wins. Georgia goes to the playoff.
All right. One of my favorite.
Alabama wins close. Georgia stays in the playoff.
Like 10, 7?
Alabama wins by 3, but Georgia stays in the playoff.
Okay. I like it. Oh, wow. Spicy. All right. One of my favorite segments of the show. Again, we're docked, but we're at the harbor and we're watching. Talk to me, my man.
Still in dry dock, man. Getting repairs. 2 targets this week. Again, same result. 1 catch, 18 yards. And man, I really thought they would go more to him in this game, but it just never really worked out. They only had 1 more target to him on the outside. My theory that I'm running with now is they're running him on a lot of late breaking deep routes, because I tell me if I'm wrong here. I feel like he's got that build up speed.
Yes. And
with that kind of speed, the short pass and catch and go like they do with the Marion Brown, he's 0-60 quick.
Instant speed. Yeah.
Instant speed, but not the long speed. Like, he couldn't outrun Harbor in a race, but he's going to get that first 10 a lot quicker than Harbor is.
Which is surprising, because coming in, we heard there was like 4.3, high 4.3 40s for this kid. I don't know how you have long speed. I'm with you though. All I see is, unless he's dog.
Go watch his track races.
Okay.
Go pull up on YouTube Nicholas Harbor 100 meters in high school.
He pulls.
It's Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt's the same way. Everybody's even with him for 40 meters, and then he's clowning everybody in the last 20.
Okay.
And I think that's what Harbor is. And with the offensive line, and we're going to talk about that again, unfortunately, in a little bit, as poor as it is, he doesn't have time to get down the field for Rattler to try him down there. I think that's my new running theory.
Coming up with a new one on the fly.
I got to do it every week. I feel like I'm coming up with something every week. At some point, it's just going to be him, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm confused. Like, there was just so much talent there. I don't know what it could be. Maybe it is what you're saying. Maybe you just can't get downfield. If Rattler's going to stay in there and try to get him the ball, he's going to get murdered, because it's just bad. But I'm hoping they get one here, and maybe we'll get an extra game, and he can can pull like one of those Squirrel Whites, go like 6 for 100 and a touchdown in a bowl game, because it's that last time to shine in prime time. We'll see what happens. But all right, the good, the bad, and the ugly from Kentucky. And I just want to say, as a Wildcats fan, they had all types of ugly the whole way around. But let's get into the Gamecocks, good, bad, and the ugly. Give me the good.
The best thing about this game was the crowd, man.
Dude.
80,000 people in that place. You had Darude in there, a Finnish DJ who created Sandstorm.
On the big screen.
He's on the big screen. They have a DJ there every week. He was the DJ this week, and I guarantee he's never seen a crowd like that outside of maybe Ibiza or something. I don't know, but he ain't never seen a crowd like that, and it was just absolutely insane. And those guys were just loud the entire game. It was just awesome, and I fully expect it to be every bit as crazy, if not more, this week. Same time, same place.
I wish we could have known like the decibel level when he like dropped the because it's probably going to be louder this week. This is the it's got a lot riding on it. This is the big Mamie right here for them. You know, this is the bowl game to get to a bowl game. You know what I'm saying? So this is what they did for all the marbles. You know, that was crazy. Like when he dropped it and then they just panned off the crowd and everybody's waving the towels. It's dark as hell in there. That was insane. Like to be there, give me that one time. Let me get that one time. Oh man, goosebumps. If they talk about it, that would be it. The hairs be standing straight up. All right, what else is good? There was a lot of good.
A lot of good in this game. Let's wait to see what happens after this week. But has Clayton White saved his job these last 2 weeks? Because the defense has been playing tremendous the last 2 weeks. They come up big clutch in this game with Jordan Strawn made the play right there where did you see how stretched out he got just to get enough on that ball to pop it up in the air? Tonka Hemingway gets it. I said it was an interception, but I went back and looked at the stats and they credited it as a fumble.
Yeah.
Although the ball never touched the ground. That's why I thought it was an interception, but they credit it as a fumble, whatever, it doesn't matter. But the first 8 games this season, South Carolina forced 7 turnovers. In the last 3, they forced 9.
What clicked? I don't understand. Why did it take so long?
I don't know.
Rotation all of a sudden, right? A lot more linebackers.
Yeah, they've changed it up. They've gone away from the 4-2-5, and they're playing 3-3-5 the last couple of weeks. And what that's allowed them to do is get more athletic players at the second level.
Yep.
You're getting Bam Martin Scott in there more. And Debo Williams is in there more now, along with Stone Blanton. Yep. You're seeing Pup Howard getting more snaps. I don't know how many he got this past week, but he's getting more snaps the last couple of weeks. So, and Jordan Strawn's been, like I said, this is his last year. It's got to be his last year. Dude's this is his 7th year in college, so this has got to be it. But he's come through big time these last couple of weeks. 2 sacks in this game, forced what I said, the interception with the fumble, 3 total pressures in this game, had a hit. I mean, Jordan Strawn, big time in this game.
Yeah, finally. Like, it's like this last little stretch here, they've seemed to let the dogs off the leash, right? Let them go to town. And I know I have. You've been telling me, well, they don't have enough guys, no bodies. They were hurt for a while, and you were right. But I was impatient. But it's just like, why? Why are we playing this type of football? Like, let's get the guys who can play the most athletic on the field, because you're hurting it all we had was pressure up the middle. That was it. For what, 8 weeks?
What it's also allowed by going to the 3-3-5, what it's allowed them to do is get a better rotation up front. Because now you're not wearing out Boogie Huntley. You're not wearing out Tonka Hemingway. You're not wearing out TJ Sanders because they're having to play the whole game.
Right. You're
now rotating in them inside and on the edge a little bit, along with Jordan Strawn and JT Gear and those guys. You're starting to, get more rotation going. They're fresher at the end of the game, which is what gives you those plays by Strawn down the stretch, because he's not been on the field 70 plays, right?
Right.
So you're still fresh at the end of the game.
Even the secondary, right? Now look at
Right.
not getting smoked because he's playing 70.
He's playing in his position.
Exactly. Even in Nick Mwari, I always mess his name up. He played well this game too. It's like, all of a sudden, like you put these guys in their position and not out of position in scrambled egg mode, and they excel. Well, you went through all camp, all spring. He talked about, and in practice, now you're doing. We
talked about this with the offense as well.
Yeah.
Why did it take you guys this long to figure out what's best for your team with the personnel that you have? Why did it take so long? Stubbornness and ego is the main issues. Your guy, Lenore Sellers, we had 2 scholarship running backs play last week. Mario Anderson, Jay Braswell. So we had talked about we're going to get some more different looks. So, hell, it didn't take very long. They had Lenore Sellers and the Wildcat early in the game running the ball. It was largely ineffective for what it was. But I was waiting that entire game. They're going to throw the ball.
Yeah. At
some point out of this set. They never did. They're saving that shit for this week.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
100%. 100% we're going to get some Wildcat pass action out of that this week, and it's going to hit for a big play.
A wide open get down the sideline or something.
Somebody. 100%. Speaking of Leggett, another big game for him. He was named one of the 10 Biletnikoff semifinalists, which is one of several awards that I get to vote for. And I will say, he was one of the guys I voted for as a semifinalist. As a matter of fact, of the 10 finalists, I voted for 9 of the 10. So I was pretty feel like I was spot on with that a little bit for the most part. We got our finalist ballot this week. I shouldn't have, but I did have Leggett on my finalist ballot. I put him at 3rd. I shouldn't have because I should have put in another receiver over him. I'm not going to say which one, but I will say Leggett was on my ballot at number 3.
Hey, you're an honest man.
But it should have been there now. We mentioned it or a little bit. You mentioned it in the opening. Spencer Rattler has accepted his invite to the Senior Bowl.
Huge.
Which is big. It's big for him.
Yes.
It's huge him to come down here because you were down here last year.
Yes.
That February wind in Mobile cuts a little bit different.
One day it's beautiful. The next day
was it's what has happened.
Yeah.
Now, it takes a big arm to cut that wind.
Mm-hmm. He got that.
He's got that. And and scouts are going to eat that up while they're down here. So it's going to be a big week for him. It was also announced that Xavier Leggett was invited. Duh. We knew that was coming as well. He hasn't accepted his invite yet. I'm sure that's a mild formality and will happen at some point.
Right.
But that's not the only big wide receiver news we got this week, was it?
No, and I loved how he said it, too. It was so good.
Yeah, so there was a lot of speculation about where's Juice Wells been? Mm-hmm. Is he going to play against Clemson on Saturday? So he just basically says, clearing the air. This is from his Twitter account yesterday or last night. He said, clearing the air. I'm not playing, which I'm taking to mean this Saturday. And I'm not holding out for the NFL draft. I'll be back next year.
Love it. Come on back, young fella.
So Juice Wells, wide receiver 1 on this team next year, along with Nick Harbor, hopefully still here. And
I believe he's still going to be here. I just have a funny feeling he's going to be tight end 1 and not wide receiver 2.
I don't care. I really don't care.
That's my prediction. I have
offensive weapon 1. How about that?
Yeah.
That's what I want to see. But you also have true freshman Mazeo Bennett coming in next year as well. So we got a chance to have some guys there. And maybe some of these other guys, Omega Blake and some of the others step up next year. We'll see. But
I got a funny feeling the Sellers cat's going to draw some portal bodies because they're going to want to play with the kid that's going to be
you're probably not wrong.
You know,
probably not wrong.
So, all right. Now, give me some of the bad. It wasn't much, but there was some.
There was some bad in this game. Gave up a lot of big hitters in the run game. Was getting diced up a little bit. If Devin Leary was a better quarterback, this game probably goes in Kentucky's direction. I think we had that last week. But Ray Davis, Ramon Jefferson, both averaging over 5.5 yards per carry. A lot of missed assignments on the edge. 68 yards after contact out of 111 combined yards. Tackling's been an issue, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's been an issue all year. It did not get better in this game.
Oh man. I was the 31-yard Ray touchdown. Like, that was the one. Like, everybody was spaghetti armed. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. At least put a little effort into it.
We talked about, them having the wrinkles with Sellers and the Wildcat. Well, they also decided, hey, let's run these sweeps to Xavier Leggett. Let's just not do that again. Let's not. That did not work at all. I think one carry he had minus 18 yards on the carry because he tried to reverse field 3 times. Didn't really work out.
No. Well, let's give it to the guy who runs 4.3 maybe, and Nicholas Harbor. How about we get him?
I would say if you're going to give it to a receiver, I'm more of an advocate of giving it to Murray and Brown. Or maybe even Eddie Lewis. Where's he at?
I stopped talking about him. You say
the guy was your punt returner. He should be elusive, right? Let's run some reverses with him or something. Hell, he ain't been on the field in 3 weeks. Nobody will see it coming.
That's why. Well, it's because he dropped the punt, right?
Right. That's why he's that. Yeah, he lost his only gig.
Yeah.
Last thing on the bad here, and this may be nothing, but I did not think that Mario Anderson was on the way out, but he does have an extra year of eligibility. But he is going to walk on Senior Day Saturday. Now that's not the be all end all.
That's not a good sign, no.
It's not a good sign, but it doesn't necessarily mean anything. But he has been invited to play in the Hula Bowl, which is the number 3 All-Star game behind the Senior Bowl and the Shrine. But somebody asked Spencer Rattler today as well, does him accepting the invite to the Senior Bowl mean that this is it for him? And he said, I didn't say that. So he's leaving the door cracked open going the other way.
Because he's been around the block and he's.
I understand. Yeah, he knows what he's doing. But no, I think Rattler's out. I'm 50-50 now on Anderson. I think he comes back.
Here's my thing. Okay, we've seen 2 Division II running backs take off this year, right? Schrader and Mario Anderson, right?
Mm-hmm.
Both in the SEC, just crushing it. This class is kind of weak in the running back department.
You're not wrong.
You know what I'm saying? So out of like 1 and 2, it's kind of like a handful of guys. Do you think he could squeak into that like 5 to 8?
I think he could in the 25 class, because if you look at Schrader's been in the SEC 2 years. We weren't talking about Cody Schrader this time last year.
No, it was bad. Right? Wasn't it Tyler Patty last year? Yeah.
I'm not sure. So we weren't talking about him like we are now.
Right.
So let's get Anderson a full year as RB1, and let's see where the conversation goes.
Okay.
Because he's still got some things to work on if he's going to be a drafted running back this year.
Oh, I agree. He needs to polish up that pass pro for sure.
100%.
And get a little bit more handsy, in that pass game. But he's
completely skipped over that in the good. And I apologize for that. He can take some pass pro lessons from true freshman Jay Braswell, because that might have won the game. His rep and pass pro.
Yeah.
He demolished that guy that was rushing for Kentucky, which gave Rattler just enough time to hit Leggett for that final touchdown. So, yeah, Jay Braswell made the most of his opportunity he had last Saturday.
I thought we'd see more. Very limited. I mean, the run game was limited. I'll touch on it in a little bit. But...
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the ugly.
The offensive line is still offensive.
Mm-hmm.
It's no running lanes set last Saturday, no time to throw. Kentucky rushed 4 the entire game and just completely dominated. No blitzing at all. Tree gives up 2 sacks. Ja'Kai Moore gave up a sack. Our favorite whipping boy at the pivot, Nick Gargiulo, 6 pressures. Trevon Bowe, 3 pressures. Deion Walker, who who is a mammoth human being. He doesn't need any help, guys.
No.
And he just absolutely took this game over. 5 pressures by himself, a sack, had 4 hurries, 4 tackles. And we played 32 snaps. I swear to God, it felt like a lot more.
Absolutely ridiculous. I read it 3 times.
I mean, this guy's what, 6'6", 340, 6'8", 340 something. I mean, this guy's just humongous.
Yeah, he's a behemoth.
Trevon Ribka, 6 pressures, had a 33.3% pass rush win rate, which is unreal.
They didn't do anything. They were like a wet paper bag out there all night long. It was like if you were bowling, they had the bumpers up. They were shortening everything up. It was bad. It was just bad, real bad.
Does not make me feel good about this coming up Saturday either.
No, because these guys, and there's no disrespect to the Wildcats, but these guys that we're getting, they're going to come up the gut, man.
Yeah. We're going to talk about those guys in a little bit, but man, oh man.
Let's talk about a guy I'm fired up that, I've been retweeting a lot of it for you. I hope you can see it. Let's talk about this recruiting roundup here.
Yeah, Dante Reno, 2024 quarterback commit. His season's over at Loomis Chaffee High School there in Connecticut. Is that right?
Yep.
He's going to sign in December and enroll in January. He's basically South Carolina's second recruiting coordinator right now. He's going after everybody. Portal guys, high school guys, everybody.
He's going, everything he's posting. It's great. I love it.
He finishes this year 64.1% completion percentage, threw for 2,358 yards, 20 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, had 8 more rushing touchdowns, 282 yards rushing. I fully anticipate he comes in the spring and has a competition with Lenore Sellers, maybe Tanner Bailey, who was I think a class of 22 quarterback recruit out of Gordo in Alabama. And I feel very strongly they'll bring in a quarterback in the portal as well. I don't know how you don't bring in somebody with some kind of
is Doty a senior?
He could come back.
They could be a veteran just to keep a guy a veteran presence.
You're right.
These young guys battle it out for 2 years,
Yeah. I mean, that might truly be the case as well. So we'll see on that. 3-star athlete, class of 24, Quashid Scott out of Marion, South Carolina, was in town Saturday. Currently committed to Kentucky, but word around the campfire is he might be looking to flip. And as a running back this year, 51 carries for 643 yards. What is that? That's what, 15 at Glick?
Yeah.
12. It's a lot. Anyway, 12.
13 and a half.
12 touchdowns. As a receiver this year, he's caught 26 balls for 7. Jeez.
Yeah.
Let's get this guy in.
Is athlete? Yeah, he's definitely an athlete, for sure. Just get him the ball, and he'll get it done.
Yeah. They did get a commitment this week from a priority walk-on, Isaiah McClary out of Irmo, South Carolina, 6'2", 175-pound DB, former teammate of Nick Emanmori. I mean, for a guy who's not getting a scholarship right out of the chute, 10 breakups and 5 picks this year.
Yeah, I'll take it. I will take that all day. Coming in like that, no problem, sir.
And coming in to visit this weekend is a 2025 edge prospect, Anthony Addison out of Sumter, South Carolina, 6'3", 215. And read this right before I came on the broadcast here, so I put it in before you could add your touch to it there, Nino. But 4-star running back Daniel Hill suddenly back in the picture here at South Carolina, and it's picking up steam. 6'1", 217-pound, 4-star running back out of Meridian, Mississippi, was leaning heavy towards Alabama, but maybe maybe they've got something else in the hopper, and he doesn't feel like it's a quick path to the carries there. I can tell you where there is a quick path to carries.
Oh yeah. Speaking of carries, I spoke to you last week about Kerry, the Michigan State commit that got an offer from South Carolina. He just decommitted. So there's another 4-star running back that had South Carolina on the list. Let's see if he makes a couple, a visit this week or
Let's
maybe
see.
anytime soon because, hey, it would be nice to bring in some
There's
studs.
going to be a lot of guys at that game this week.
Oh,
a lot.
Yeah,
a lot.
I told you, this is the grand fellas for the grand boom banger right here. This is the one, you know what I mean? So we win this one. You might have a couple more guys, that want to be, coming in and see the school. So I'm with it. It'll be nice. Just gotta get going. One more. All right. I alluded to it a little bit when we was talking about the putrid run game. But when your running back has 32 and your quarterback has 39 and leads the room on 7 scrambles, this is bad. We can't.
Not good.
No, 2.3 yards per carry for Mario.
This is what we were looking at in the North Carolina game early in the season against Georgia. This is the same rushing game that we had.
And what
it felt like we were turning the corner there a little bit, and now we're going backwards.
One body, no. It was great when you had Juju healthy, right? Obviously, he's not there anymore. He's not healthy, but you had Mario to bang it up, in between, and then you had Juju get outside and catch it. Well, now you're a one-trick pony again. You gave Braswell what? He may have had 15 snaps. I think he had 3 total touches. Like, come on. You got to incorporate more. You can't just have one guy and have him be zoned in on by everybody. I know this is not something that you want to be very proud of, okay? But he dominated again in the punt game. And he shouldn't have to have 8 punts, okay?
No.
This is what made me dive in to see where he was at, because we had 7 of 8 drives after the field goal with punts, okay? And 6 of the 7 with 3 and outs. That's just gross. So bad. Like you mentioned, like if Leary was any better of a quarterback, he's mush. But we were trying to give them the game.
I don't know the name of Kentucky's defensive coordinator off the top of my head, but that cat came in with a great game plan because he knew that South Carolina couldn't block for any sustained amount of time. So anything they were going to try to do was going to be quick screens, short passes, get the ball out quick. They locked that stuff down.
Oh yeah, they had the safety in the whole time. And they blitzed full the whole time and said, okay, we're gonna blitz full, and if we have to adjust, we will. They never had to adjust because they were eating us up before, and then they just had the extra guy rolling around for anything that was showing. He just killed us.
They were blowing up screens, everything, almost as soon as sometimes even before they could catch the ball.
Yeah.
So they knew that, and that's something they're going to have to adjust to this week. I don't know if it's just and we saw a little bit of it the other night, maybe sprinting Rattler out, like right out of the chute.
Yeah.
But they're going to have to start doing something to get the pocket moving, to get the ball, to be able to pick up 7-8 yards down the field on first down. Because if you're staring at 2nd and 10, 2nd and 11, you're screwed. The drive's over.
Yeah.
You've got to pick up 5, 6, 7 yards on first down.
Let's go in a shotgun, right, with a running back with you, okay? Put Mario back there, and then drop, a tight end in as protection. Dude, you got to do something. It's something to give him time. Something that's just different. I don't know. You drop the guy in, you can roll running back out on a screen of some sorts, but give it or a counter. If that's the case, they're gonna stay hungry and drooling at the mouth. Counter, delay, do motion screens up the gut with Brown, someone with speed that can burn them quickly. Nicholas Hobble, something that keeps Trotter and Carter legit, or else they're going to destroy us. But I mentioned the punt game, and I want to give him his flowers. Ever since we roasted him, and I say sometimes they hear us on this show, I really think somehow, some way, through the little telephone game, it gets there some way. He's been lights out. Okay, he's dominant again. 44 yards per punt. I said weeks ago he couldn't get any inside the 20. He gets no touch. Dropped 3 more again this game inside the 20. He single-handedly was the MVP of this game. He had to have been, right? Like if it wasn't for him in the field position that we put them back in, we probably would have been screwed in this game, looking at more of a deficit in the end, like to try to come back and win. He was the MVP for me. It sucks that it has to be that guy because that means that your offense blows.
Right.
But he did his thing. All right, let's talk this Clemson game. 7:30, SEC Network. Talk to me.
All right. So this isn't the best Clemson team we've seen in recent years. They're currently sitting at 7-4 right now, 4-4 in the ACC. But they have won 3 games in a row, including wins over Notre Dame, Georgia Tech, and North Carolina, all of which are going to bowl games.
We see this a lot, though, right, with Clemson?
Yeah.
When they have a down year, it's down the end, the stretch. They seem to just get it together and stop being a force.
It's not for their quarterback, though, but after being anointed as a Heisman contender was it ESPN put up a graphic or whatever last year, and Cade Klubnik has not been great. Completing 63% of his passes, 2,480 yards, 19 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. They've got a good two-headed monster at running back there with the big bruiser, Phil Maffa. Got 149 carries for 805 yards, 9 touchdowns. Will Shipley is a tremendous all-around back, 166 touches, 921 scrimmage yards, 7 touchdowns. They don't have a big receiving threat like down the field that they've had in the past and they've had great receivers in the past, but maybe that guy's Bo Collins. I don't know, but their leading receiver this year is their true freshman, Tyler Brown, who's caught 46 for 479 and 4 touchdowns. And to be honest, my biggest fear on this offense is the tight end, Jake Briningstool, who when I watched them play a few weeks ago, kind of took me by surprise with how good he was at stretching the seam. He's caught 40 balls for 404 yards and 5 touchdowns.
Last year, the last 4 games of the year, Jake came on and he caught my attention. I said, okay, him and the gentleman from LSU, I forget what his name is.
Mason, the Hall of Fame, Jason Taylor's son.
Yes,
Mason
exactly.
Taylor.
Yeah, they both came on down the stretch for their teams and in the playoff or the bowl. And I was like, all right, these guys I want to watch. And Briningstool has been a guy for them. They've been missing Antonio Williams all year. He's been on. I think he played 3 games due to injury. Was their freshman wide receiver that dominated last year for them. Bo's been good. Knock on wood. This year he's been in games. He's had stretches. But yeah, we're not seeing the T. Higgins and those types of guys.
Yeah, there's no Nuke Hopkins, there's no T. Higgins, there's no Sammy Watkins on this team.
Yeah, no, but that running back scheme scares me. And with Cade, I gotta ask you a question because I was a Cade advocate, right? I liked what I saw coming out of high school. I liked what I saw in very small sample size in like the spring game when he played, right? And I know everybody thought it was DJ's, but it wasn't DJ's fault. That was just us. You have a stubborn guy that won't change his ways. And I saw 2 things with Cade this year. And it wasn't even play. He can play. The kid he's got talent, okay? But when a coach calls a play, and you don't even go into that huddle or into that line and attempt to run that play, because you've checked out and you and that guy aren't on the same page, that's an issue. And that's supposed to be a leader of your offense. I saw that twice. He did that. One of them was in the 4th quarter. They were getting blown out. It was like 3rd and 11. They called the play, and he came in and just did it was supposed to be some kind of check down. He just literally faked the handoff and ran out of bounds. And you could see on the sideline, they weren't on the same page. That's an issue. Who that's on, I don't know. But that's how you waste talent in my eyes. I don't know if he's going to be there next year, which is sad because I was expecting good things with him and Garrett Riley together.
We'll see. We'll see what happens with him on Saturday. But the thing that scares me the most about this team is this defense. How many guys off the top of your head do you think are NFL players on this defense? 8 to 10? Yeah. Maybe not immediately, but like in the future.
There's at least 6 up front
for this year. I mean, there's several, but we'll start with their linebackers. They've got a pair of them. Jeremiah Trotter Jr., whose dad was a stud in the NFL. He's got 51 solo tackles this year, 14.5 for loss, 5.5 sacks, 2 picks, 5 breakups, 2 forced fumbles. This guy is all over the field. Now, can you get him to make mistakes?
Yeah.
Absolutely, because he's a very gambling type of player.
Agreed.
So you can't get him to make mistakes, but his athleticism is unreal. And Barrett Carter is a stud middle linebacker. He's a prototype middle linebacker in the NFL. 34 solo tackles this year, 7 for loss, 2 sacks, 2 breakups. Like I said, both of these guys, I think, are top 100 guys in the NFL draft this year if they both come out.
I'm with you 100%. I had a discussion before the season started with Coach from Toads Titles about Barrett Carter versus Trotter. And the discussion we had, I think now I see what he was saying. With Carter may have longevity, right? But Trotter could have instant impact. He's just, man, what he can do when he's on, he's a problem. You can't scheme him out. It's hard.
I don't, because he doesn't have the length, I think, is what may hold him back at the NFL level. But I think if he puts on some weight, could he have a 50% Micah Parsons-like impact?
I'll take 50%. That's fine.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Their defensive line is loaded. Xavier Thomas feels like he's been there forever, but he's still playing. He still plays at a high level. It's an inconsistently high level, but he can play at a high level. Tyler Davis and Rook or Horo. I'm going to get that right. I'm going to get that right one day. All 3 of those guys are going to be in the NFL next year, for sure. But the best player on that line is a true freshman.
Oh, my God.
TJ Parker's got 14 solo tackles, 9.5 for loss, 5 sacks.
Now, I want to see what he does next year when he's the guy. He's surrounded by dogs, right? So it's like he's not being the guy schemed out with a game plan. So let's see where he's at next year, because this is what I said about Tyler Davis. I thought Tyler Davis, because what he had last year, I'm like, he could scoot into the NFL draft, right? And he didn't. And I'm like, okay, now it's going to have to be his time to shine. And he did it again. So I'm with it. But yeah, I want to see what he does next year when he's the main piece on that line.
Amazingly, though, we've talked about their loaded linebackers, their loaded defensive line. The best group might be the DBs.
Yeah.
And Nate Wiggins, arguably the best cornerback in this draft.
No, he's number 2.
I said arguably.
I'm the wrong one to argue with, though. I'm biased. I love Wiggins, though. I think, and me and Dean, I was discussed it earlier. He's 2 in my eyes, but yes, he's arguably
behind
Kool-Aid.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're not buying into Kool-Aid's not even the best corner on his own team?
No, come on. Get rid of that Terry Arnold. Please.
Okay, we're getting sidetracked. Nate Wiggins is very good. There's going to be a first-round pick in this year's draft. Their other corner, Sheridan Jones, pretty good too.
Yeah.
Andrew McCabo, top 60 player.
Yes.
Could be one of the top safeties drafted. They have a true freshman, Khalil Barnes, 2 picks. Second-year safety, Kylan Griffin, also has 2 picks. And we didn't even mention R.J. Mickens, who, if isn't suspended, last year they probably beat South Carolina in that game.
Yeah, probably. You're probably right.
So,
yeah. And I wrote in the notes there, I'm scared. After how poor we were in the Kentucky game and how good Clemson's been down the stretch this year, and honestly, the last 3 seasons, they've been really good down the stretch. We're a little. We can't afford any mistakes. We can't afford 6 of 9 3-and-outs. That can't happen. Or it's going to be ugly.
Can't do it. No turnovers. You got to force turnovers again. I know that's what you had to do the last 3 games. You got to do it again because you got to have this game.
Yeah, this is it.
It's a very slim chance that they would be a 5-7 team that is goes to the bowl game. I've looked at the pecking order; they're like 6th down right now.
Yeah,
so you would need 8 bowl slots to be open to get to you. Now that's saying some teams say we don't want to go, which is very possible. But let's just say it's slim, and let's just don't worry about that.
Who says we don't want to go?
No. I'm talking about other teams ahead of them in the pecking order could say they don't want to go, and then that would move South Carolina up. But let's not worry about that. Let's just win the game.
Yeah, I don't want that in anybody else's hands.
Now, I have said that I read earlier today that if they do get to 6-6 and get to the bowl game, South Carolina will be one of the more attractive teams in the lower part of the SEC bowl pecking order.
Okay.
Which rules out Birmingham, which sucks for me, but
lipstick on a pig,
whatever. But the talk is that it could go to the Liberty Bowl or the Music City Bowl in Nashville. Those are the 2 spots I'm hearing if they can win this game. Memphis.
Okay.
So if they win Saturday, that's one of the 2 destinations it looks like they could be headed. But you got to win first. So that brings us to our final prediction for this game. And current line right now has Clemson as a slightly more than a touchdown favorite, 7.5 points. I'm going to go first again, and I picked them the last 3 weeks, and I'm going to do it again. I'm going to call the upset again this week. South Carolina wins this game 27-24.
Listen, I've been positivity all season, even in games like Georgia when you were like, oh boy, this is going to be over early. This last game really scares the shit out of me. They did everything in their power to give it away. You know what I mean? Like, it just, like I said, how bad offensive drives were. If we have anything like that, it could get out of hand. And for that reason alone, I got Clemson winning this game. And it hurts my heart to say this, but 31-24. And I feel like it's a turnover down the end when we're trying to go in there and win it. That turns to, gets us in, whether it be a pick, fumble, just something stupid. That would be the culmination of what this season's been. Just something stupid that shouldn't have happened. You know what I mean? That's where I'm at. I hope I'm wrong, but that's the vibe that I'm getting. Hopefully we can come back one more week and give them a positive note, right?
I hope so. So next week, we are going to go one of 2 directions. We're either going to have a full season wrap-up show.
Yep.
Or we're going to have a wrap-up of this game, and we're going to preview
a bowl.
Well, we won't preview. We won't know who they're playing. So we're going to do a wrap-up. Yeah, we'll have a positive wrap-up show next week or a sour wrap-up show next week. One or the other is going to happen.
If the show starts and the tissue box is out, you already know it's going to be a bad one. I'm your host, Nino Brown. It's my co-host, the man himself, Deep Fried Draft, Brian Bosage. Again, this is the Garnet Roost. We appreciate you guys. Look out next week. So hopefully we're not with the tissue box and we're in a positive note. Once again, CFB Nation, we're out.